Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you're having a good one. So there's a lot of interesting news. We covered actually a lot last night because there was a ton of news that came out late yesterday. And maybe we'll get into that. But first, let's start with, the new redesign of GrowMyBag.tv. Go check it out. There's a lot going on. You can join the community, start having conversations, and start learning about crypto. If you don't know everything, then that could be the place for you. Now, we have MasterCard creating a fund to work with startups that are creating new innovations and use cases for crypto in the payment space. That's interesting. Now, the reason why I say that's interesting is if you know, back in the day, everything used to be cash. There was no middleman. Then came the credit cards like MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Diners Club, and the rest of them that came along and said, we're going to insert ourselves in the middle, and you can spend now for money that you're going to get later, and then you can pay us later. And of course, if you're late with that money, we're going to charge you interest. And so we went from being a cash society to a credit society. And if you look at crypto, that's kind of moving us back to a cash society, right? Because you can't spend crypto you ain't got. Just saying. So when I look at this, this direction that MasterCard is taking, they're trying to find different ways than MasterCard, Visa, are just trying so hard to stay monkey in the middle. And I'm just kind of like, there are other ways. I think there are more creative ways that they can remain relevant in a crypto world, right? There's going to be data analysis. There's still going to be spending analysis because that's what they do. They collect all that data, analyze it, and tell you what your spending habits are, what this, that, and the other is, and they can still do that. It would just be via the blockchain and not necessarily via their captive audience using their credit cards. So that's something to contemplate. But I like what they're trying to do, right? I do like what they're trying to do. Hey, Stitchy, good morning. I do like that. I just think it's going to be hard for them as crypto continues to pick up and pick up and pick up. I mean, is there a space for them? Of course. Of course. Because not everybody's going to want to have to, work with crypto in certain ways. They might find it still easier because it'll be some time, right? It'll still be easier to take a credit card and use your credit card at the store. It'll just be that your credit card will draw from your crypto, and then MasterCard or Visa will convert that into money and then pay out over there. And obviously there are going to be fees involved, and you should really understand what those fees are. Right? Because there are going to be network fees. There are going to still be all kinds of fees. And then for the store owner, there's still going to be fees for accepting MasterCard and Visa and whatever credit cards, that they're working with. Whereas if they just went direct with crypto, they wouldn't be paying any fees. As a vendor, you would not be paying any fees, right? The person buying the product would be paying whatever fee is involved for sending you the money, or sending you the crypto. So there's a whole big thing around that. So I'm just kind of keeping watch on that space. I will say this. Credit card companies getting involved, they see it coming. To me, that's another sign, a broad sign, that they see the change coming. They see the changes basically being here. If you look at the financial institutions, they're basically saying change is here already. Don't know what you're waiting for. Change is here already. Better get on the bandwagon. That's some real stuff right there. Something else that's going on, local Monero, a place where you'd be able to buy the Monero privacy coin, is shutting down or has shut down. That's a problem because it makes it harder and harder and harder for people to actually get their hands on the privacy coin. So that's tough. That's tough. Now, are there probably underground ways that you can still use Monero and other ways? Yeah, most likely. Most likely. But it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher for privacy coins. Really, really tough for privacy coins. So that's, some argue, that it's a blow to privacy tech. And it's kind of like, well, how private do you want to be? How private do you have to be? And it's kind of like, well, I went to the bodega and I bought, a bacon, egg, and cheese. Yes, that's one word. I'm from New York. It's bacon, egg, and cheese. One word. Not bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll, because they know what you want. It's bacon, egg, and cheese. That's it. And my bustelo. Anyway, when I walk in and I pay with crypto, I don't need you to know what I spent my money on or where I spent my money. I want you to think about this. If my wallet gets used in Thailand, I'm in Thailand, right? If I use my money at that corner bodega, I'm in the Bronx, right? Yeah, I'm in the Bronx. I don't need you to know where I'm at. You can pinpoint me based on the location of where that was used. Unless, there are just different ways that we can do business, but I'm probably there. I'm probably physically there. So there are reasons why people like privacy coins. There are reasons. And it's not, not everything is nefarious. It's just, why do you need to know what I was doing, how I was doing it, where I was doing it, why I was doing it? It's just, that's too much overlook. So yeah, you'd be able to pick out that wallet and be like, that wallet was used here, 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 here. And know what that wallet was used for based on the products that are sold at that location. You might not know what was purchased, but you know where it was purchased. It's all right there on the blockchain. So we're giving up privacy for a little bit of privacy or a little bit of security, less control, right? So there are reasons. Then I came across an article, and I found it to be interesting because it's about a guy who created the Gods and created Utes. Those are both NFT projects, and they used to be on Solana. Now they're moving over to Ethereum, and he's disappointed in himself. He's disappointed in himself because he started making decisions based on what others thought. He wasn't seeing himself as a leader because he was kind of bowing to everybody else's will. And he just said, yeah, I was being a P word. So he's changing how he's doing things, and he's moving over to Ethereum. Very interesting. Now I want to see what the guy does. Because that was a very frank, it was a very frank interview that I was reading. And, for somebody to be able to come out and say something like that, that takes cojones, as they say. So I'm interested in learning about that. What else went on? A lawsuit against Dolce and Gabbana. Somebody bought some NFT clothing, and they said the value of that NFT clothing went down. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just saying to myself, did you think it was going to go up? Did you really think it was going to go up? When you go to the store and you buy $1,000 jeans, when you walk out of the store, do you really think they're still worth $1,000? Seriously? So I'm just looking at this lawsuit and I'm just saying, how is that even allowed? That's ridiculous. Not ridiculous. Ridiculous. That I can't even get it through my thick skull about that one. So I'm going to pay attention to that lawsuit just because I think it's freaking hilarious. Just because I think it's hilarious. And something else that went on, looking at, the infrastructure for the financial institutions out there, just the financial infrastructure and how it's changing, right? It's changing because there's newer, better, faster, more secure, cheaper technology that's out there. What are we talking about? We're talking about crypto. Financial institutions have been running tests on crypto and its use cases for years now. For years. Franklin Templeton, the CEO, I think her name is Jennifer Johnson. I know her last name is Johnson because my last name is Johnson. No relation. She is cute though. Very smart lady. She came out and she said, listen, we're testing crypto. We have our own crypto coin called Benji. It's based on Solana and Stellar. Based on Matic and Stellar. And she's like, listen, I see funds. I see all kinds of tokenization happening on blockchain. I see all kinds of settlements happening on blockchain. She goes, the amount of money that's spent on settlements right now is incredibly high, and the amount of money that can be saved leveraging blockchain so incredibly high. That's why I think everything is going to go over to blockchain for settlements. And here we go with Franklin Templeton, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, a whole bunch of other banks working with the Deposit Trust something corporate, DTCC. I always forget what that stands for. They're working on tokenization. Technology that they're using, Chainlink. That's why I see Chainlink shooting up this morning. Or actually starting to shoot up last night and also shooting up this morning. That's why. It wasn't just that they ran the pilot. They ran the pilot and it was ridiculously successful. So the chances of them, continuing on that path is great. I told you months ago when Chainlink cut that deal with Swift, Swift is going to walk them through the door of all of these different banks. Pith might have better, faster technology. Chainlink is already there. That's going to be tough for Pith, to overcome. But when I look at what's going on in that space, Chainlink is what I say all the time, a part of that connective tissue. Being leveraged as the blockchain to handle tokenization, huge. I'm telling you, I gave you different use cases. I told you that car ownership, property ownership, like real estate, titling in the real estate space, all of that. You're going to see all of that move over to blockchain, and you're going to see a whole disruption across many an industry. Now, here's a question for you. As these banks see how they can save money, are they going to pass along that savings? What do you think? I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they are. I would just be interested in finding out, because settlements, that process is so expensive and so time consuming, and it touches so many systems. To have all of your systems now point to this golden source, blockchain, done. That's a lot easier, because that means I do less changes in my blockchain. I mean, in my application to point to this source, and we never have to worry about reconciliation because it's right there on the blockchain. It's already reconciled. That means all the information that I'm getting and giving is solid. Doing a lot of consulting in the banking industry, that's going to be huge. That is going to be huge. And it's a lot easier to work with one platform than it is to try to figure out how to work with many. I know a bank right now that's trying to figure out how to do something, and I'm sitting back and I'm kind of going, blockchain might be able to save that. Flip that over to blockchain. You might have a solution there. There might be a way to leverage that. We'll see if I get the contract. We'll see if my company gets the contract. But I'm looking at that and I'm just saying, wow, there's some big deals going on right now. Big pilots that are experiencing success levels that nobody thought would be at those levels. This is one of them. Chainlink is going to skyrocket. Chainlink's been dormant for a little while. I can see Chainlink living in, bumping up to the 20 range and living there for a while. When traffic starts to really hit, you'll see Chainlink just skyrocket. Because at least one of those banks is going to be like, yep, we're going to tokenize that. Let's go. They're going to pull that trigger quick. And then it's just going to be bank after bank after bank after bank after bank that's going to wind up doing it. Remember, they partnered with Swift. They're being walked in the door. I thought Swift would, bend, cave, walk away. Swift still has a space. They still have a space, in everything. And I'm sitting back, I'm going, that's pretty cool. Now, will that space last for Swift? Don't know. But they are catching up. So I think there's a lot going on there. Everybody thought, I know people at Ripple must be thinking, wow, I thought it was going to be XRP Ledger. You could still be in the bank, be used for something else. But settlements and tokenization, whoo, yeah, that's big. That's big. And it's smart to use an oracle for it because you're trading data, because that's what they specialize in. So that's why I'm looking at that. So I will be looking at Pyth to see, well, is anybody going to test with Pyth to see how fast that is, see how cheap that is, and everything else? I'm interested to see that. Something else interesting that happened is Bybit has been blacklisted in France. Why? Compliance issues. Compliance issues. They're not doing well with regulatory compliance, and that's the problem. Yeah, you see Stitch like over here. He's right there. That's Stitch, looking out the window, chilling. This is his house. We just live here. But they've been blacklisted because of how they handle things. And I'm just sitting back and I'm going, does France have does any country or group of countries like EU, do they have a good crypto stance? Everybody's there. It seemed, like I said before, it seems like all the developed countries are trying really hard to stamp down on crypto. Both words work. While all of the underdeveloped, up-and-coming economies are embracing crypto and moving up because of it. Smartest minds in the world are not necessarily, in the developed countries or economically developed countries. I have to correct myself. I'm sorry. And I'm just sitting back and I'm all for it because I'm wondering when they're all going to wake up and go, wow, that's going to be a problem. We have a bill right now in the United States that's been passed by the Senate, been passed by the House, is going to wind up on the president's desk, and where he's promised that he's going to veto that bill. That bill is basically that banks would be allowed to, custody crypto. Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because it goes against what the SEC wants. And why does the SEC want it? Because Elizabeth Warren wants it. This is where I think she's clearly wrong. She's clearly out of sorts. She ran around all over the place begging people, don't vote for this bill, don't vote. They overwhelmingly voted for this. Overwhelmingly voted for this. I think she's out of sorts. I think she's, out of touch when it comes to crypto. And that's going to be a problem. I think Biden has different people in his ear telling him the wrong thing when it comes to crypto. And he's going to veto the bill, and that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. It's going to be a major problem. So I'm just sitting back and I'm just paying attention to everything because I'm wondering, are you actually helping to speed along the failure of the financial industry because you don't want to work with crypto? You're making it hard for crypto to do anything. You're not going to stop crypto. Fighting it is becoming too tough. And the reason why you're not going to stop it is because, it was underground to begin with. Do you think it won't go back there? The more you squeeze, the more that will get squeezed out and flourish. Sort of like when you're playing with slime. You squeeze slime and it just pops out. You never really get rid of slime. Days and days after, you still got slime all over the place. It's not going to go away. You might as well find a way to work with it. Because if you work with it, you won't chase innovation out of the country. Straight up. You'll probably wind up fostering innovation, gaining new jobs, and becoming the leader that we used to be. I don't know that we're a leader in the financial industry anymore. The United States, that is. I don't know. I don't think so. Tamping down on crypto the way it is, I don't think so. You have crypto companies out there that make the bulk of their money outside of the country, not inside the country. That's a problem. That really is a problem. But you know what we should do? That's right. We should go over the numbers. So fear and greed index is at 74. I'm expecting it to rise a little bit. There's been a lot of good news lately. Of course, there could be a macro event that could come along and just squash everything. But right now, we're dealing with good news. DeFi Llama, we're up to $115 billion in total value locked. Not bad. You can see who's up over here. why they're up, the kind of services they have, that kind of stuff. I tell you guys, look at that all the time. Bitcoin is trading well above my blue band and approaching my green line at 69. My green line is at 69,355. Because if you go back in the past, that's kind of where we used to be, right? That kind of was the newly established bottom until everything fell out, right about there, right? But we're well above. We're trading at about, let's see, I'll bring it up on the big board. 66,239, not bad. Not bad at all. You can see where Link is taking off, even Cardano's taking off, still below 50. Cardano's still below 50 cents, and Link is still below $20. I need Link to be at $20. HBAR is flying up. Avalanche is flying up. Arweave is flying up. I mentioned last night, I saw somebody, they had a post, and it was, I bought 4,000 of Filecoin, and I'm like, you chose Filecoin over Arweave? Seriously? Filecoin's in the green, but Arweave is up. So I'm just saying, sometimes you got to do your own research. You got to figure that out. And that person made a decision based on their own, but this person is giving financial advice to others. And I'm wondering if that person is licensed to do so. I don't give financial advice. I give research advice. That's all I give. I give you advice on how you should do your research. I share research with you. Some of you share research with me. That's what's up. That's a community. That is a community being built. And we're about to have some new introductions next week for the community. We've just redesigned the website. We're putting a lot more information up front, a lot more articles up front. And for members, you get even more. That's what we're talking about. And remember, it's not a news site. It's a social media platform. We just happen to have a lot of news. We have a lot of research that we're doing. And we've got more coming. Anyway, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, just drop me a note. Say thanks. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and get the bell so that you get notified whenever I drop new videos. Something else I would like you to do, if there are improvements that you think I can do, drop me a note. I'm open to that. Let me know if I can do better. Anyway, I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.